been days now, so we can go ahead, take these clamps off. These windows are actually held in now, so we don't need to keep these up here any longer. Now we're looking at, I want to get the light up here. So since this is the bracket that's going to be holding the light, because it's a larger light, you can see I need to mount the box somewhere up here. So to do that, I'm going to have to get another piece of wood, run across here some direction, either across or up and down, so I have some place that I can mount my box to. Got a board cut, so that way I can put the box here, and that will give me plenty of room so my bracket can mount on the box about like so, and give me plenty of room for trim at the top of the wall, at the bottom. I don't have to worry about it getting in the way of anything. So we're probably going to go somewhere around there for it, which means this is going to be somewhere about here. Just for knowledge, if you're ever looking at your boxes, and you'll notice these little bumps right here, these are actually to set in so your board comes up to that for your drywall. So that way when you put it in there, you go up against those little bumps, and that way you should be spaced just about perfect for when you put your drywall on to be flush. Since this isn't structural or anything, it's literally just going to be holding an electrical connection box there. I just have, 4 drywall screws holding this thing in, just so it doesn't want to go anywhere. All right, would have been smarter for me to drill this hole before I put the box on, but I forgot about the box, or the drilling a hole through, so. And there we go, got a hole to run our cable up through. Something I decided to do off camera, because I wasn't happy with, just the wire coming up through and sticking out here, especially with ceiling tiles that can move. So what I did is I got a little piece of PEX. This is just 3/4 inch PEX tubing that I had laying around, so I can run my wire down through here so any ceiling tiles won't be banging into it, because I couldn't come up with a good way to keep that protected. So this is what I came up with. Just that, a little clamp just to hold it steady. Now I can bring my wire down into this box, and it'll be protected up here from panels moving around. I just want to point out here, do yourself a favor when you're doing any electrical work. I mean, if you're not comfortable with it, definitely get somebody that knows what they're doing. But if you are comfortable with it, make sure you leave yourself plenty of wire in the box. Don't be one of those just have 3 inches sticking out of the box. It might be fine for now, but in the future it's going to make it very difficult if you need to make any changes. So about 6 inches is really what you want to be in the box. That gives you plenty to pull some out, do some work to. So in the future, if I have to change something out, I have room down the line. And this stuff is actually left over from another old project. So literally I just ran this up. I gotta still staple it to the floor joist and come over, and it's gonna be taking the place of that light. And another little bit of advice here. On these, when you're putting your ties in, you don't have to sit there and try to mash them in as tight as you possibly can against the cable. As long as it's holding it snug, that's all you really need. You can see this is a tight spot where I'm trying to get this staple in. I don't have room to get a hammer in there. So let me show you a little trick. All right, well, I can't hold everything and do it at the same time, so I'll have to show you afterwards. But essentially what I'm gonna do is use my clamp and squeeze it into the wood. You can see I got the clamp on, but I'm gonna have to hold this so it doesn't go off to one side as I do this, so I can't do it with the camera. All right, you can see I got it in there and it's holding it. Now all I gotta do is just release my clamp, and you can see it's in there in a spot where you can't fit a hammer into. And just let you know, using a clamp on this too, it does take a lot of hand strength to be able to squeeze this to pull it in. So you might actually have better luck if you have a C-clamp or something like that. But now I have my wire with plenty of excess run down here to the light, so I can undo that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get power secure before I do that. In case anyone's wondering, this is just regular 14-2 wire for this light. It's just for a light. It's not gonna be anything that powerful, so 15 amps is more than good enough for just a light. Something else that's nice when you're doing electrical work, if you're uncertain about where power is, if you have certain kind of meters, you can actually clamp them on and you can hear it. So I have to go way over there to the panel, so this way I can hear it tell me if it's on or off. Alrighty, all connections are made in the box over to the light. So now we can come back over here. Oh voila, I got light again. So now I just gotta get my cover, which I don't have an actual cover for that, but I do have an outside one that this will cover that. So then I'm good and I don't have to worry about it. For anyone wondering, this is just a temporary light. You've probably seen this on job sites before. I'm not gonna put the actual light up here yet because I still have to do my drywall work, and I'll be getting new sheets of drywall this weekend, but the light is actually in this box. The only thing I did was got out the mounting bracket, so that way I had it to make sure I had my placement right. Now it's gonna stay like this until after the drywall and everything goes on. All right, now I think it's time to get this tackled, so this is actually mounted instead of just loose and hanging here. For someone who's never played with these style boxes before, these things are actually modular. You can see right here, there's a screw that you can take this out, then this end cover can come off. Same thing as up here, I can take this screw out, and then there's one down here on the underside I can take out to take this off to change it from a 2-gang box to a single gang, and then I can put this end back on it. So I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing. I do need to turn power off though, because I did turn it back on and test my light. So I'm gonna turn this off, change this down to a single gang box, and actually get her mounted to the wall over here. Okay, trying a new little standout here. But before I go too far, with moving this switch around, I do want to check and make sure. Yes, I got no power here. I got power to that, but I'm not working on that one. This is the side that we're working on, and I got nothing in there. All right, so now we're gonna disassemble the box. There, we got it down to single now. Now I just gotta take this end off and put it back on that one. All right, now we're gonna put this back together. So it's gonna go in here, and then pretty much just tighten this up and you have your box back together. Now we have a single gang box again. Now we just gotta get her fastened. All right, and now we have that all ready to go. Gonna get a couple of screws here and get this fastened on. I got a notch in the board here, so I'm gonna have to just straddle that and adjust my height a little bit with it. One, and I'm gonna put one on the bottom side too. Voila, all done. Just make sure when you're putting these in that you have them basically straight this way too. So that way it lines up when you're putting your drywall finishing on. All right, I want to get a staple actually up here on this wire holding this to the wall also. All right, you can see I got the wire up here at the top stapled just to hold it so everything's nice and snug. So now this is actually remounted. It is just a touch higher than it was before, but that's gonna be just fine. All right, turn the panel back on and we have light. So all the electrical's done. I can go ahead and get insulation put back in the rest of the wall and get some of these ceiling tiles moved back. Something else to keep in mind too, like how I did this with this notch. So when I go to pull this ceiling tile back in spot, I am gonna have to take a little notch out of here so it lines up around that. But it's gonna be on top of the wall, so you'll never see it anyway. All right, I already marked and cut out my little notch here, as you can see. The only thing I used for that was actually a drywall tool. I just put a little mark on each side, cut back, and then snapped it off. And now you can see that this will actually just fit right up in there. And it's pretty good fit in there. So from down on the bottom, you won't never be able to see it because it's gonna be above the wall, but very minimal, so you can't really see it. I was putting ceiling tiles up, but I don't have any more full sheets because this one, they used to have it just cut right here. So I haven't got to get some more, and I can see this one has a damaged corner. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit more of these, which means I'm probably gonna have to get a box of them, but that's okay because from the looks of it, I'm gonna need some more anyway. All right, now I can go back to finishing putting insulation up here. to get ready for the drywall, but actually I will be getting the drywall here in the next day or two. That is something that I do have to pay for. Everything else here, for the most part, has been left over from other projects and have just been reused, so I really don't have any cost into this so far except for the insulation and the drywall that's going to be going all over everywhere. I'm not going to take you long as I basically cut this and get everything put in, but I'll be back afterwards and just show you the after. See, we're all done with the insulation now. So today we got the switch mounted, we got the box, the wiring rerun, redid up here, and all the insulation done. And you can see I went through and even gently put insulation inside, so that way it would be just that much more airtight. And you can see this side doesn't look quite as nice, but now we are done until I get some drywall in here. And like as always, if you have any questions, just leave them down below.